Eotech, everyone's familiar with their sighting systems. And of course, they make other stuff as well. And this is their new entry. This is what they call their OGL, or on-gun laser. And this is, if you're familiar with Steiner and the D-ball at all, so this is it's a slaved IR invisible laser. So what that means, for anyone who's not sure, wherever the visible laser is aimed to, then the IR laser will be aimed to it as well, so that when you go to sight it in, you just sight in the visible laser because you can see it, and then when it's time to go lights off, you switch it to IR and you're still sighted in. Yep. You're already zeroed in, and it also has an IR illuminator with a variable zoom to go from almost a pinpoint to a flood on the IR illumination. So just like the Steiner D-ball A3, it's just this is their version of it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't there's a need for this in the market right now that is civilian accessible, correct?
Yes.
I've seen some chatter on chat rooms and on the interwebs that what's available to civilians right now in the IR laser illuminators is garbage, and that the products that they make for airsoft in the same IR are just as good and cost 1/5 as much as what's made for actual AR platforms. And is that
is absolutely true on all counts.
Is it? Okay.
And it's even going to be true with this. This is initially this is going to be, I like how they put this, as low as $21.99. So this is not cheap. This is actually more expensive than the Steiner version.
For that price tag, it better
perform. And I think it probably will. But here comes the second part. Well, let's read through the stats first.
Okay.
All aluminum housing, about the same size as a deck of cards.
Okay.
Enhanced ergonomics, shared optical bench for the visible. It's visible green, by the way, and IR aiming lasers. Illuminator variable beam divergence, 5 MRADs to 115 MRADs. 0.2 MRAD windage and elevation adjustments, 50 MRADs total. It's got standard PTT receptacles for your switches and stuff if you need remote switches. And it comes with a mod button light 7-inch switch is included. It has tethered protective caps and pattern generators. So far, it's all the stats basically of a Steiner D-ball A3. It just costs a little bit more. Now, it is Eotech. There is a good chance that it might end up being a little bit better than Steiner.
Fair.
Now, here comes the rub, though, to your point you just made earlier. It's going to come in standard military and law enforcement power for military and law enforcement sales. Civilian sales with a downgraded lasers.
Little foreshadowing
will be
there.
Later.
Good. What's the battery life on one of these?
I don't know. They didn't give any details on it. Battery life on these, there again, it depends on what all you have on. If you run an illuminator and lasers and everything, battery life is not super stellar.
Okay.
You're talking hours.
And does it have its own battery, or is it something standard off the shelf?
This is a off-the-shelf battery.
Okay.
So I mean, lots of good things, but to your point, by the time it comes down to us mere mortal civilians, it's still going to be the neutered version.
Yeah.
And for anyone who's not sure the difference on that, it's huge. The visible laser is pretty much kind of the same. The IR is where it's drastically different. And a lot of that gets into just the different safety classifications. They don't want to sell us civilians IR lasers that we're going to accidentally burn out our eyes or someone else's eyes.
Oh.
The military goes bump in the night. Okay, well, if you burn out your enemy's eyes, well, you're going to shoot them anyway. So they don't worry about it as much. That's why they have the dual power settings on the military. You've got your low power, then you got your full let's go play mode. And to your point, the airsoft ones that are out there, a lot of them, because they're not regulated as firearm devices, a lot of times they're not legal necessarily, the output that's coming on them, but they kind of come in through because they're
back channel toys.
They have actually military level IR outputs. Now, the drawback with that is they're not military hardened, so they're not going to be as durable.
They're not going to take as many.
They're not going to take nearly as much abuse.
Yep.
Probably won't be, if you do a swim-in insertion with a airsoft laser, it might not actually go and be a laser when you need it to. Now, with all that being said, we actually do have some of those airsoft ones that we're going to test on some upcoming videos. So they're actually behind you right here.
That'll
So
be fun.
we went ahead and got that, and we'll put it up against the civilian D-Ball A3 to kind of compare them. These are actually the airsoft A3 clones. So it'd be kind of curious to see how that pans out. I hope you've enjoyed this clip from the Craig's Gun Channel Random Shots program. The program airs Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. On Random Shots, we discuss content from ranging anything from preparedness, survival, politics, firearms, basically anything that's 2A related, with sometimes some rabbit trails and things that aren't related at all. If you enjoy this type of programming, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're notified when we release new content. And if you like it, hit the like button and share us if you would as well. It helps the algorithm and helps the channel grow and helps get our message out. So until next time, stay safe.